Okay, so I just finished On Quiet Street by Seraphina Nova Glass. First time reading any book by this author, and let me tell you guys, oh my gosh, this I think was one of the best books I ever read, if not the best book I ever read. And you guys, if you watch my channel before, you know how picky I am. So let me start this book. I read it on Kindle. It's available on Kindle Unlimited. And it is about 300 and something pages, like in the low 300s, like literally like 305 or something like that. I was just scrolling around, found it on Amazon as a book that I may like or something like that. So it looked interesting, little summary and everything looked interesting. So I decided to go ahead and check it out. Oh my gosh, let me tell you guys about this book. Okay, so this book is a domestic psychological thriller story, which is one of my favorite types of thrillers. I say I love The Office, I love landlord tenants, and then I also love domestic psychological thrillers. So I felt that I couldn't go wrong with this one. It takes place in like this bougie neighborhood, like a cul-de-sac, where only people with a lot of money live there and everything. And then it's just like literally all these nosy neighbors, but it's not like nosy to the point where it's just like all corny and stuff. It's nosy kind of like because they have a reason to be nosy. So on the outside, everything looks like perfect, like, you know, it's like a sought after neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. But on the inside, there's so much drama and it is such a hot mess that it makes the story so interesting. Okay, so let me tell you about the vibe of this book. Okay, so the book had me actually turning into a really nosy person. I'm a little bit nosy, but with this book, I was like really nosy. And it makes me kind of want to snoop around my neighbors a little bit more than what I already do. So the book was juicy without being too over the top. And it was very suspenseful without being too twisty. I know like a lot of thriller authors, everybody wants the plot twist and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they go way too far to the point where the book is actually confusing. And confusing is not entertaining to me at all. If I have to think, I want to be able to have to think a little bit. But if I have to think too hard, or after I finish the book, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even understand what just happened, or have to go back and read chapters, then that is not the book for me. That's over the top. That is doing way too much. You know a thriller is good when you're sitting there like, okay, who am I really rooting for? Who's lying? Who's about to snap? If you already can figure that out, like in the very beginning, you're like, okay, this is the good person and they're good, the good person, the hero throughout the whole book. That's not really like a good page turner because it's kind of like predictable or whatever. But when you're sitting there wondering, you go back and forth between who you believe is wrong and right and bad or good. To me, that's what makes a good thriller. Okay, so let me just give you a little synopsis of the characters. Like I said, this book is so good, I do not want to give too much. I don't like doing spoilers or anything like that. So it's like literally, there's 3 different families. I mean, it's a mix of like messy, crazy, nosy. Like I said, there's domestic drama. And so the book starts, there's a guy named, okay, so here, let me go back. Here's the families. So there's one family and the dad/husband is Grant. The son, who's in his early 20s, is Caleb. And the wife/mom is, what was her name? Paige. Paige. Okay, then there's the next family. The mom/wife is Cora. The husband/dad is Finn. And then the teenage daughter is Mia. Now, mind you, Cora and Paige, the 2 moms, the 2 wives, they're like besties. And then the next family is Lucas and Georgia. And they have a baby named Avery. And they're like more off to themselves. They're not like really friends with anybody for the most part. Literally in this book, you cannot trust anyone. And that's not giving anything away or anything. I'm just telling you, you can't trust anyone. And you'll literally, each time in each section of the book, you're thinking, okay, that's the bad person. That's the one who did it. Okay, she's crazy. He's crazy. He's a cheater. She's a cheater. Whatever. All that mixed up in one. Okay, so let me talk about Seraphina's writing style. I love her writing style. It is like the exact writing style that I love. I don't like anything where I have to, every other word I have to Google and look it up to see what the definition is. I know a lot of people like that. I don't. I want words that are used that I'll look up maybe a couple words, something like that. But for the most part, I don't want to have to look up anything in the dictionary. She makes the book, it's definitely a page turner. Without, like I said before, it's not too twisty though, where it's confusing, but you're sitting there like literally trying to solve it, literally trying to guess what happened. And just when you think you've got it solved, something else happens and then you're wrong. And that literally happens multiple times in the book. She also gives a lot of details, but not to the point where it's too much details where you're sitting there wondering, okay, will they just get to the point? And I know a lot of authors, even authors I like Riley Sager. Riley Sager does a lot of details. And sometimes I'm like, dang, bro, can we just get to the next part of the story or whatever? But you know, that's his style, and a lot of people like that, whatever. I don't like that much. I like a little bit of detail, enough to make you be able to feel yourself in the scene, but that, and then enough to really help you to understand the characters, but that's pretty much it. Okay, so what I liked most about the story overall is that it was very eerie. It was very tense. I mean, there was parts in a book, and I rarely do this in a book, in a thriller book, where I'm sitting there like, go, 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 run, and turn left and all that kind of stuff. Jump out the window, or whatever the case may be. And I was literally doing that during the book. And I love actually like movies like that too, where you're thinking somebody's about to get caught doing something, whatever they're doing, whatever, and you're like, run, run, you know, go left, go right, or something like that. And that's in this book, kind of like more than once actually. It's very action packed. This was, like I keep saying it, this would make a really good movie. Also, there were several themes in this book, and I know like a lot of books, it's just like one theme, one or two themes or something like that, but this one hit like a lot of themes. It hit grief, adultery, control, abuse, you know, domestic violence, drugs, I mean, murder, pretty much. Did I say cheating already? Definitely cheating. Pretty much just family drama in general. Just pretty much everything. There's all kinds of themes in this book, but it didn't like bog the story down. Because I know a lot of authors, sometimes they try to put too much into a book and try to make it, you know, just to make sure that it's interesting and whatever. Seraphina does, she puts like the right balance of themes in the book. So it's like not like, you know, she's flipping the storyline too much or anything like that. It's just literally the right balance. So about the characters again, there's a lot of books, in particular like with Freida McFadden, a lot of her characters, even the person that's supposed to be the hero or whatever, I do not like the character. Like I literally can't stand them. And in this one, there really wasn't anybody in the book like that, whether they were bad or quote unquote good. I don't know if anybody in this book is really good, but I felt the characters really meshed into the story a lot, and nobody like irked me like I wish she would shut up, or I wish they quit talking like that, or I wish they'd stop saying that word. I found myself thinking that in other books that I read, but in this one, nothing really hit me like that. I definitely recommend this book to anybody who is into neighborhood thrillers. I know that I love neighborhood thrillers. I mean, sometimes I just like in my neighborhood, I think about, I want to write a book about this neighborhood because I just love it so much. I love movies with that theme as well. But if you do love that, if you like domestic thrillers, different families and how they all tie together and that sort of thing, then this definitely would be your jam. So yeah, On a Quiet Street pretty much gave me everything I always wanted. Messiness, crime, drugs, domestic, and just a little bit of unease that makes me kind of want to go out and check my Ring camera. But at the same time, I mean, like I keep saying, it's all about the balance of the story. She just never was at a point where Seraphina was doing too much. She really knew how to keep it balanced, and it just wasn't over the top at all, but yet really, really good. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm actually giving this book a 5-star rating. I haven't done that in a really, really long time. So if any of you read this one, is it on your TBR? If yes, let me know in the comments. And also, now that you guys see what I love now, if you know of any other like neighborhood like thrillers or even domestic thrillers, drop those recommendations in the comments as well. Like I said, finding books is always like overwhelming to me. It's hilarious. I'm like, it's like, you know, giving me a headache or whatever, looking for books. So I do love recommendations. I'm not saying that I'll read everything that people recommend, but as long as you're staying in line with what I'm telling you that I like, I probably will. Also keep in mind, I don't really like books that are over 350 pages, so recommend books that are kind of somewhat short and that are easy reads. So again, like I always say, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and notification button so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Also, like this video, give it a thumbs up. Even if you didn't even think the book was as great as I did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you've made it this far and sat here and watched it. Again, recommendations, go ahead and drop those in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video.